To the Borough Council regular meeting for November 19th, 2025. We'll go ahead and start with our roll call.
President Ferguson,
Here.
Vice President Gerard,
Here.
Councilmember Byrd,
Here.
Councilmember Fagan,
Here.
Councilmember Weiss, here, Mayor Gerard, Junior Councilperson Shiana DiCola,
Here.
Borough Manager Snyder, here, Borough Solicitor Harper, here.
Yeah. All right, everyone stand. We'll do our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Burns will do our invocation.
Almighty God, we come before you in humility and purpose as we undertake the work of this council. Grant us wisdom in our deliberations, clarity in our judgment, and unity in our efforts. May our decisions reflect justice, compassion, and a sincere commitment to the common good. Bless this community we serve and guide us in all we do to uphold the trust placed in us. Amen.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, we'll kick the evening off with item number 1, approval of the meeting agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for this November 19th, 2025 regular meeting?
Second,
A motion from Councilman Burns, a second from Councilwoman Weiss. Any questions, changes, or amendments? All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? There are none. Motion passes. Item 2, approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes, the meeting minutes from the October 1st workshop meeting and the October 15th regular meeting?
Moved.
Second,
I get a motion from Councilman Gerard, a second from Councilman Burns. Any questions, changes, or amendments? If there are none, all in favor?
aye.
Opposed? There are none. Motion passes. Item 3, public input. If there's someone from the public who would like to address council, we ask you to rise.
Just checking.
We did both minutes, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's okay. We ask you to rise and approach the podium, make sure the green light is on, and state your name and address and the reason for addressing council. Green light's on? All right.
Rockville Boyer Senior, 462 Midland Drive, Hatfield, PA. Here in regards to see the grants given the right pass and everything. I've been working with myself and different people in town, talking to them. I even think the good ideas control these voters, cycles and students. If I have to, because I've watched in TV, was at there's other boroughs and townships are starting to lay down rules for this. Because we walk our dogs up to Mention, Wine Street, Putnam, and these kids come flying down there on these scooters. So ready to go, they don't even get off the ends of the street. So I said, well, okay, the borough did their job. Your signs up there and say about this. The same way with your dog. It's supposed to be on leash. My young neighbor across the street was told me yesterday that there was a elderly couple out back in their house looking into windows. Mom and dad could only go to work. And she said they had dogs, no leashes. They were talking as loud as they wanted to. And she started opening the door. He started heading towards the door. So she just locked the door and went in the bedroom, locked the door. So, that's kind of getting really scary for me because I can't take a head, hit on the head or off dead. At Grayson. So my daughter and youngest daughter and some of them, they have cameras 360 degrees around my house, inside and out. And they're spending money, our money, to come up to all these cameras. My daughter recorded. She called me 2 weeks ago. And you know, some of us outside with gloves to it, turning it in. She no. She says, well, on the camera, baby, there. Now, with the drill across the street or something about the ones across. And then the video across from the gate. Guy they bought that was trying to break in half, 12 o'clock night. And they, that was maybe yesterday, woke up 6 months ago. And, it wasn't for us calling 911. Guy probably would kick the boots. So when I called 911, I says, make sure the policemen know, or at the end of the street. Walk, they did. They came out from the bushes, going just like that. Then I went to the police station next day and said, by the way, if you want any footage, I have it on the camera. They said, oh, but I never heard the cop. I have my thoughts on what happened. People that did in that big gold, I go to Tasha Hoyle, India. That's how many sounds in it. One of them come out of there real slow, the lights. Just go down the street, stop, look, watching to see what the police was doing, where the car was. So pretty soon they said, when you're going to leave. So I seen the car go down to the end of the edge and sit down, watch, and all that police cars went from the easeway to the back of his house. 7 cars, bright lights came on, ran out the easeway and took off. So I think this other guy down riding it out, just to look at. I told the police about that, but they said, what's going on? He said, well, it was scary. That's what I would like to do. I've been working on the paper for that. About 2-3 months now. And you will update it when these kids right down the sidewalks on the park and you turn off the head with next. All they come flying down there. Well, I'm going to drop out of the way. They're riding going to the big fat tires and go 50 miles an hour, right on the side. Says, no, that's just supposed to be in. They're there. I got some pretty good ideas. Start getting some money back. No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here about. See what can be done. Not bad enough.
Madam Manager, go ahead.
Sure. Mr. Board, thank you for coming out tonight. For the scooters or bicycles, we can certainly talk about that at the Public Safety Committee meeting. I know that Lieutenant Graham and Chief Tierney had recently sent an email with laws and regulations based on scooters, e-bikes, those type of things. that, if you're riding on a road or sidewalk, we can certainly look at that at the Public Safety Committee meeting. And, if you're worried about your, like, safety in the borough, you said you had went to the police and reported it. There are, neighborhood watch committees that can be joined. We provide that information to you about going to neighborhood watch. At Hatfield Township has, committees, and we can put a neighborhood watch in your neighborhood. These are just some ideas that maybe to address some of your concerns. Also, Lieutenant Graham's here. If you take your name, number, I'm sure you've talked to Mr. Boyer before and can address, how you feel. Yeah. Do you want to share your information with Lieutenant Graham and he can follow up with you, or do you have it? Okay.
Raise your hand so you can see it.
Already made a note.
Okay.
Notifying our traffic safety officer.
That's what I hear when see. Other than cleaning that. Was I thought.
And Councilmember Weiss is Chair of Public Safety, so she'll make sure when we meet in the beginning of the year that we do address scooters, e-bikes, bicycles, those type of things can be a conversation at the meeting and see if we can do anything moving forward.
Okay.
You know that, absolutely.
Okay.
I got none of that too.
The chiefs. Yes.
Anyone else? All right, if not, we'll go on to item 4, our announcements.
Next council meeting's December 3rd workshop and December 17th regular meeting at 7 PM in council chambers. Planning Commission is scheduled to meet on Monday, December 15th at 6 PM in council chambers. PEROC is scheduled to meet Wednesday, December 17th at 8 AM in council chambers. The borough offices will be opening at 1 PM on Thursday, November 20th, that's tomorrow, for employee training. The Hatfield Borough offices will be closed on Thursday and Friday, November 27th and 28th, in observance of the Thanksgiving Day holiday. And leaf bag collections started Monday, October 27th, and will continue every Monday through December 1st.
All right, any questions? All right, if not, we'll go on to item 5, new business. We'll start with item A, the 2025 roadway resurfacing project payment request number 1, which is a final payment.
Included in your packets is payment request number 1, final pavement for the roadway resurfacing project, which took place on North Main Street and I call it Little Broad or Little West Broad, off of Talmenson. You'll see that the invoices from Hatfield Township. So we partnered with Hatfield Township on this project. They fully paid for the project, and this is our portion, and they're asking us to reimburse that. So our portion was $72,924.35, and we budgeted this year $104,000 for roadway resurfacing. So it came in under budget. It was a really good project. We really liked the partnership. I know we used liquid fuels money for the project. I feel like it worked out well. Hopefully, moving forward, we can do some other projects, maybe where our roads connect a little bit. We'll see how that goes. A lot of them happen to be state roads, but we'll see. I think it worked out well. Don't have any complaints.
Any feedback from the township?
They took the lead and they said that it was fine, good to work with, and they also agreed they'd like to do more projects. It's just when you think, where could another one be? Possibly Maple Ave, something like that. When you're looking down here, these are state roads.
Most of the roads are state roads.
Yeah,
and you don't have
and
any
Avenue
control.
was just done, I believe, and that's state anyway. So when you get into the township, I think.
For most people listening or watching, realize that we don't have any control over paving state roads. So that's usually left up to the state. So when we complain about Unionville Pike or some other roads, we don't really have control over being able to make changes to those. So sorry, madam.
Yeah, no, it's a good project. I'd love to partner with them more. I mean, I think there's cost savings for both municipalities, which is always a good thing. It's easy to work with. So they're just asking for consideration to reimburse them the $72,924.35.
And that's on for action item E tonight, right?
Correct.
Oh,
Question?
Go ahead, yep.
Yes, is there a way to reference which roads are and are not state versus municipal?
Yes, I can talk to the public works director. We used to have like a map where we did, in the borough where it was just outlined like South Main and West Broad kind of highlighted. So, if you give me your information, I can have him email that over to you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say most of the ones with a number on them are?
Yes, that's the
So,
same.
yeah.
Yeah. But-
Ours are all street names, so.
But I will say, I mean, we call this South Main Street, they call it Cowpath. North Main Street is a Hatfield Borough Road, so I mean, it changes over. It's not as obvious, I feel, as some people might think it is. But I will get your contact information and get that over to you.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. If there are other questions, we'll go on to item B, the conditional use hearing for application 5 South Maple Avenue, and I'll turn it over to our solicitor.
Oops. We've done this before and we got an application for an oversized garage, larger than it's allowed to be on South Maple. The plan is showing that it has certain dimensions, but our ordinance allows us to get a survey plan so that we can make sure that, not just the size of the proposed garage, but that it's far enough away from the property lines and things like that. So tonight, all you're being asked to do is schedule a hearing. Under the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, he's entitled to a hearing within 60 days. So Jamie suggested our regular meeting in December, which is December 17th.
Oh, the right, 7:15.
Yeah, but I have to advertise it for 2 weeks. It's a zoning, hearing,
Right,
which
right.
requires more advertisement than other things. So you'll be asked later today, I think, to do that. And we are still waiting for some information that we hope the applicant will have together by the date of the hearing. And our zoning officer did speak to him and tell him we need a survey plan so that we can judge this. And the ordinance requires that borough council judge an oversized accessory building to make sure it fits in with the neighborhood and that it complies in other respects and, that it fits the character of the neighborhood too. So those are things. You've already done this. We had one a few months ago, not too long ago, actually. We did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and here's the other thing, we usually do these without a court reporter. Unless we're expecting an appeal, so we can do this without a court reporter if we're recording. Katie, I'm looking at you. We are, okay. So we should record it just in case.
Okay.
If there's an appeal, then we have to do a full decision containing findings of fact and all that jazz. And so, we can do that, but we'll save the money by not getting a court reporter up front, because if it's not controversial, then we don't really need the transcript, okay? So later this evening, you'll be asked to schedule it, tell me to advertise it for the 17th.
And under action items, that is item D, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
5 South Maple. Yep.
All right. Any questions? All right, if not, we'll go on to old business. We'll start with item A, the 2026 preliminary draft budget discussion. So as everyone is familiar, we first made this public 2 weeks ago. Then we had a town hall last week to kind of go through more specifics on it. So anyone that wants a lot of that detail can go back and look at those recordings. Again, we'll open up for some more discussion today as well. Just want to highlight a couple of things, or highlight one thing, which was we are looking at changing the code enforcement hours, and good work done by our manager and the rest of the folks to adjust what that schedule would be. So it looks as if, Madam Manager, if I'm stating anything incorrectly, please let me know. Looks like we would have 3 days worth of coverage plus 1 day of work, either the code enforcement person going through the borough or doing work elsewhere. So that will increase our coverage. Compared to what we had in the budget, it added another $10,000 budgeted. We had originally 90 and we increased it to 100. But it also got rid of some additional health care and benefits costs, equating to almost $25,000. And it allowed us to eliminate the quarter mill, the quarter excuse me, the 0.25 mil increase that was originally in the budget before. So this budget does not contain any tax increases. It does include the fees that we discussed previously. So, Madam Manager, did I get that all correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Just wanted to make sure. So, so now I'll open it up to council or to anyone on the floor that has questions regarding the budget. Nothing, my friend? Okay, that's what I like to hear. So anyone on council have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I have a comment to make. One thing that people have to realize is that there's, the budget and then there's the budget. Our budget, which is the borough budget, we've managed to hold the taxes equivalent to what we had last year. However, it does not mean your taxes aren't going up because school taxes and borough and the county tax, we don't have any control of. And there will be an increase of some sort with that, especially with the school district, supposed to be recent, a few years ago, the bond, was done. So, any increases you see are not related to what we've done. It's just something we don't control.
I see a question.
Yeah, one of the things, I guess it's not really budget related, maybe I should have said it about it, but I'm curious if the borough has ever considered a incentive program for volunteer firefighters. There's, but Hatfield Township does this, Montgomery County does it. And the school district just recently approved an incentive program to incentivize people to join volunteer fire companies. I know that Hatfield is still all volunteer. They don't have any paid staff. A lot of townships around us are paid staff and are expanding that paid staff. And I think that helps keeps our taxes a little bit lower. So something to maybe consider in future budget years, incentive program, which basically gives people who join and meet certain requirements, percentage back, either in part or in whole of the taxes they paid to the borough.
I will say that Budget, Finance and Labor did discuss that. I did ask Aaron for their ordinance, and Budget, Finance and Labor is going to look at it and consider it to enact next year. If that's something that the rest of the board like, we kind of talked about it. We just, in all honesty, budget came up, didn't get it done on time to be part of this, but it doesn't mean that we can't do it in January, February. It was something, and I did ask Aaron, because we would just like to mimic it because we share the same services. So I think that's something that council is in support of when we talked about at least looking at it to seeing what that means for our taxes.
Glad to see you got rid of the increase.
Quarter of a mil.
Quarter of a mil. So, and again, that was, that was due to the work of Jamie and Diane and the other folks in the office. So they did a very good job at that. So. Question? All right, if there are no questions, I will close out our discussion on the budget. Again, it will be available for the next meeting in 2 weeks as well too, after which we will then advertise for it and plan on voting the final budget on our regular meeting in mid-December.
I know Jamie knows this, but we do have to advertise it's available for 10 days. So did you figure that the math doesn't work?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
The
that's
meeting's
good.
on 17th.
Yeah.
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 So we'll have to have it out there. We have to advertise that it's out there. and
Right.
All that takes time.
So I believe Wednesday's the 3rd, am I correct? So,
It'll make-
yeah, so we have 14 days, yep. All right. All right, let's go to item B, the train station lease agreement. Madam Solicitor?
Sure. This is the train station lease for the SEPTA station. We made a couple changes from the last time, and apparently the tenants are fine with that, correct?
Correct.
Right, so essentially, we're gonna have, they have a little corporation in LLC, we're gonna have them also sign personally. They're getting a credit for 6 months, not have to pay rent so that they can use that time and money to get the station ready to go as a, Jamie can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's gonna be like coffee, tea, gift shop kind of a place. And then if it takes off and does well and they need a bigger space, then they will come back to us and say, we want to renovate the pole barn also. So this is ready for action. And the idea would be that it would start January 1st, December 1st. So you better do it tonight.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but then, then they get the 6 months to get ready. Okay?
I know we've talked about a lot of the details before on this, but any other questions? I think we're all excited to get somebody in there, so.
Did we get any like updated plans from them as far as what they plan on improving?
They provided, it kind of looks like a PowerPoint presentation, of like their design concept and that. And, right now it's mostly like just cosmetic. They haven't submitted any permits or like plans to code, because they're waiting for this to be signed. But it's basically their idea is outside of, they were moving the bathroom, like kind of to the upper middle level.
Okay.
Outside of that, it was just cosmetic out, I say out the gate, like paint, drywall, flooring, that kind of stuff. There'll be an ADA ramp, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And, have we finished our improvements?
Yeah, so we finished the demo of the basement. The HVAC is being done this week. The electrical work is being done either like the week of Thanksgiving or the week after. Like it depends when his days. He might be there 2 days next week and the rest the week of December 1st. The plumbing, it cannot take place until they frame the walls. So our plumber will come in and run the line, but can't run all the fixtures until they frame the walls. So they know that. And then we're building in-house the ADA ramp. So that can be anytime in the outside. That was one of her questions, like, hey, if we sign it, you're not going to hold us up, right? Because that's a month that they don't get. So I did tell her that information and we can work together, and they were fine with that. Yeah.
And we also have to send it to SEPTA. I don't expect any problems with SEPTA.
The lease agreement,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, we use one of their forms.
Mhm.
So.
Any other questions? All right. We'll go on to item C, the 2026 proposed meeting dates.
Meeting dates are included in your packets. These are the proposed dates for 2026. We did just hear back late this afternoon from Judge Levine's office that the reorganization on January 5th will be at 6 p.m. So if you want to do something prior to that, we normally do have, friends, family and stuff can come prior. It will be at 6 p.m. and immediately following that will be the workshop meeting. I will let the newly elected council member know, as I've been in communication with her. So that's really the only thing that's not listed on here is that January 5th meeting will be at 6 p.m.
Any questions? If I remember the previous discussion, I think everyone was okay with the dates. It didn't interfere with anyone's vacation, so I'm assuming that none of that's changed and the dates are good for everybody. Not Mr. Fagan, since he's leaving us. All right. We'll go to item D, the escrow release for maintenance security of Edinburgh Square.
We spoke about this at the last meeting that they have a maintenance security remaining with us for $8,403.51, and it is the recommendation of our engineer to release that. I know last meeting, Vice President Gerard asked a question about the trees in the basin, so I got those answers that trees are required to be part of the basin area and they're planted. It's a he used the big word, evapotranspiration, it's basically the water comes into the ground, it goes up the roots, then it goes out and it evaporates through the leaves into the air, and it's really good for the environment. It's based off of our DEP approved ordinance and also Montgomery County. So we based our ordinance off of DEP, and then the county adopted that as well. So it does meet those requirements, and that's why there are 2 random trees planted in the basin. He also did add that we can also kind of look at that. We did talk about this before, like above ground basins are not the most beautiful things that you look at when you drive by, and we can certainly update the design standards. But when this was put in, those were the design standards that we have and are in place. But that's something that a committee wants to look at in 2026. I think that's great. We love underground, but you know, sometimes you got to go above ground, and we like to make them the most aesthetically pleasing as possible. So it's on for consideration as an action item to release that remaining $8,403.51 to the developer.
So my question still is though, they didn't answer, who, in the event that those trees die out again, who's responsible to replace them, the homeowner or the builder?
Yeah, it would now be on the homeowner responsible. Once the maintenance bond is up for a building, it's transferred over to the homeowner. They do have a agreement, like a shared agreement for stormwater management that they had to sign at settlement. So it would be on them.
And it's recorded against the property, so it would go against the property forever.
Okay,
Yeah.
so not just the corner property, would be all of those houses.
Yes, yep, yeah, they all share it.
They all share it, and that was one of the harder things about this development, but we just recorded it against all 4 of them.
Any other questions? If not, we'll go to item E, ordinance number 560, amending chapter 10, Code of Ordinance, weeds and other vegetations to regulate bamboo.
Right, the committee looked this over several times and we made some changes to it. And basically now what it does is, says you can't plant it here, but if you already have it, you can keep it, but you can't let it go on your neighbor's property. So that seems to be a much more reasonable way to approach the fact that there are a couple places that have bamboo right now. So this is the new version of the ordinance, and I think it's on tonight to get advertised, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
December 17th.
It'll be December 17th as well if you go forward with that as an action item. But I think it's a much simpler, better ordinance than we started with.
I think it's more user friendly.
Yeah, it is more user friendly and it'll be easier to deal with. And it takes care of the real problem, which is your neighbor planted bamboo 20 years ago and now it's growing in your yard. That's not okay. Okay.
Yep.
But if you want to have it because you like the way it looks, okay, if you already have it, but you know, you can't plant it new because it really is invasive.
And that is item C under action items for later. All right, any questions? Having none, we'll go on to our action items. So we'll start with item A, motion to consider the SEPTA sublease agreement with Rebecca Cox and Stephen Pittinger, Sobic Designs LLC. Can I get a motion?
Second,
A motion from Councilwoman Weiss, a second from Councilman Gerard. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Item B, motion to consider escrow release maintenance security for the Edinburgh Square development in the amount of $8,403.51.
second,
I have a motion from Councilman Burns, a second from Councilman Gerard. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Motion passes. Item C, motion to consider advertising ordinance number 560, amending chapter 10, Code of Ordinances, weeds and other vegetation to regulate bamboo for a public hearing on December 17, 2025 at 7 p.m.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilman Burns, a second from Councilwoman Weiss. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Motion passes. Item D, motion to consider advertising a conditional use hearing for Arzo. I'm not even gonna try. Huh?
Correct.
Yeah.
Here, 5 South Maple. How
For-
about that?
Yeah, but we just do that. For 5 South Maple Avenue to be held on December 17th, 2025 at 7 PM.
Second,
I got a motion from Councilman Fagan, a second from Councilman Gerard. Any questions? All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? There are none. Motion passes. Item E, motion to consider the 2025 roadway resurfacing project payment request number 1, final payment to Hatfield Township in the amount of $72,924.35.
Move.
Second,
I got a motion from Councilwoman Weiss, a second from Councilman Gerard. Any questions? All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? There are none. Motion passes. Before we make a motion for payment of the bills, do we have any questions on payment of the bills or on the bills?
I have one question. The mayor asked me a question. There's an item here, Paul Davis for the train station basement demo of $1,692.86. Was that for the bathroom that was in the basement? What was that for? Do you know?
Yes, it was to get rid of all like the bathroom that was down there and all this, the stuff to, basically clear it out to make it usable storage space for the new tenant. It was not like water sealing, anything like that. But yeah, it was like to demo the bathroom and take everything out.
Is that the dumpster cost? Was that the dumpster cost?
Yeah, it was to get rid of everything.
Right,
Yes,
right.
yeah. It was the full demo. When we originally contracted, we were talking about demo, it was looking like 8 to 10 from like an EDS or something like that, so.
Okay, thank you.
Again, kudos to our public works for taking on the work and saving the money.
Is the Montgomery County Treasurer for Planning Assistance, is that the Montgomery County Planning Council, MCPC?
Yes, yeah. I would also like to add that, next month, just don't get scared that you're gonna have an expense of $1,601 and, $601.98 for, debt payment. So that's gonna hit, it's gonna hit before, after this bill list is approved, but before the next bill list. So don't be surprised when you have $1.6 million of expenses in December. It's because we're paying off the debt. It just didn't hit this, bill list yet.
And we talked about paying that off during the last meeting, so.
Yes,
yep.
yeah. So we've talked about it. We're doing it scheduled. It's just, we're in between bill lists before it. So when you don't want to say happy holidays, but we're having big expense.
Just so the public knows, we're not putting on a big grand old party, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for that update. Any other questions? All right, if there are none, can I get a motion to approve payment of the bills?
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Councilman Gerard, second from Councilman Burns. Any other questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Motion passes. We will have an executive session, so can I get a motion to adjourn for our executive session? A motion from Councilman Weiss, second from Councilman Fagan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.